Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Mayor's Weekly News Conference. For this week's agenda, we'll be focusing on 4 topics. We have announcements regarding National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, a $350,000 grant from the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for composting, a $150,000 grant from the Department of Community and Economic Development for renovations to Bayview Park, that's DCED, and a $125,000 grant also from DCED for an exciting project at LEAF. And now I'll turn it over to the mayor.
Thank you, Renee, and welcome everyone. Looking forward to presenting these 3 grants to you. I'm going to start, though, with the opportunity that we have for people to get expired or unused prescription drugs out of their home. The Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA, scheduled the National Pickup Drug Take-Back Day. It's going to be this Saturday, October 27th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The front lobby of City Hall will serve as one of several collection sites within the county. I want to thank Sergeant Stan Tuznick, who's here for running the program and making all this happen. The service is free and anonymous. There'll be no questions asked. Needles and other sharp objects, though, will not be accepted in this collection. Immediately after Saturday's event, all collected materials will be delivered to the DEA for incineration. After this take-back event, no medications will be accepted at City Hall anymore. If you miss this Saturday, though, you don't need to wait for the biannual collections to discard unused, unwanted, or expired medications. You can take your items to any of the following 2 locations in the city: the Erie County Courthouse lobby or Mercyhurst University, the main police office. There are also 10 other locations throughout Erie County, and those are listed in today's press release. So now we'll move to our next item, which is a $350,000 municipal grant. It's a recycling program grant from the PA Department of Environmental Protection. Erie was just awarded this. The $350,000 grant was awarded to cover the costs for processing equipment at our city compost facilities. The city's match is 10% of this, and that's being done through our public education efforts, including the printing and mailing of the city's annual recycling calendar and guide and our compost site. The grant will be used to purchase 2 pieces of equipment. The first is a trommel screener, which will enable us to accomplish 4 very positive results. First is to improve our ability to process a large volume of compost made from leaf and yard waste more efficiently and much faster than we can do it before. Second, it increases the quantity of raw leaves and yard waste that we can process. Third, it improves the quality of the finished compost. And finally, this will increase the amount of finished compost that we can distribute back into the community. We're very proud of the volume of vegetation waste that the city of Erie collects and processes into recyclable compost. We provided at your curb collection of compost for 9 months out of the year. That's from March through November. In addition, we pick up Christmas trees from the end of November to the end, or December to the end of January. So that makes 41 weeks out of the 52 in the year that we're helping to improve our environment by recycling vegetation. The grant will also allow us to purchase a new tandem axle dump truck. This truck will enable us to accomplish 2 more important objectives. First is increase the collection abilities during high collection seasons, such as when the leaves are coming down and need to be collected and transported to the compost site for processing. Transport and distribution of finished compost back into the community in a much more timely manner and efficient manner will also allow us to do that. Okay, the second grant we want to talk about is a grant from the DCED in the amount of $150,000. The purpose of this grant is to make improvements to Bayview Park, which is located on West 2nd and Cherry Streets. The city partnered with our West Bayfront to apply for this grant. Hello, good morning. The state funding will be matched by a grant funding provided by the Erie Community Foundation to our West Bayfront. In addition, the Erie County Gaming Revenue Authority, or ECRA, awarded our West Bayfront an additional $50,000 through its Community Assets Program to support the Bayfront Park project. These funds provide important matching dollars needed to complete the first phase of this exciting project. The project began in the spring of 2017 with a community input process facilitated by our West Bayfront. Over 300 residents participated in the design process throughout this year by responding to surveys, participating in design workshops, and providing feedback on concept designs. Construction of the first phase of improvements is anticipated to begin in 2019, and funding will continue to support later phases of park improvements. Our team is currently reviewing input from residents regarding what they would like to see at Bayview Park. Once we have a sense of what we can do with the funds that were awarded, we will hold a community meeting in our West Bayfront to review the plan and get additional feedback. Basically, the funds will be used for the refurbishment and replacement and addition of park facilities as requested by neighborhood residents. That includes things like the existing basketball courts will be repaired and resurfaced. The existing tennis courts will also be resurfaced, and new multi-purpose court features will be added. Walking paths that connect the primary amenities will be installed throughout the park. A revamped northeast entrance will be added, and there'll be a bike rack also installed at the park entrance. I don't know if Candace Battles was able to get her? Okay. All right. So the third grant that we want to talk about today, I'm really excited about because it's in my neighborhood in Frontier. It's actually in Frontier Park. It's a $125,000 grant to LEAF also from DCED for the installation of sliding boards down the side of the hill at Frontier Park. I'm very excited about this. I'll talk more about that in a minute, but first I want to ask Dan Dahlkemper to come up and tell us a little bit more about that project. Dan is, of course, the head of LEAF. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate being here.
Yeah. This is not my idea. Rick Griffith had been in New York City and went and found one of these ground slides. It's close to the ground. I mean, the hazards that you find in sliding boards is when they're way off the ground. And of course, people come in the winter to slide it at Frontier Park. So Rick came to LEAF and said, hey, I've got this idea. Do you have any place we could put it? And as a matter of fact, right near the playground is a little kind of funny little area that's not been used, been kind of a weedy thing. Said right here. So it's a pretty steep slope that comes on at that point. It's right next to the playground, right down the street from the mayor's house, which is just perfect. So the slides will get built right into the hillside there. And Rick said, I want them fast. They got to be stainless. Let's get ripping. I'm the first one to go down. So he's been the impetus behind this. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today. So we wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about that. But here's an opportunity where you can take something that is a kind of a problem area and really make it an asset. So I just got an image here that we can kind of show everybody. If somebody could kind of help me unroll it. This is the image of the area, and it'll be kind of a nature play type area. This is the hillside looking up at the hillside, and there will be 3 separate sets of slides eventually with trees planted to help to keep it cool because it's a south-facing slope because it's kind of a sunny area. And you'll walk up stone stairs, you have some climbing features, and you'll walk right up. We've got accessibility because we've got paths in the other part of the park, and we've got a great asset. It's not really a tree-dependent thing. I mean, LEAF's mission is all about trees, but here's another opportunity, like when the garden club came and they wanted the labyrinth. Oh, yeah, like the labyrinth. I thought maybe people could hear me. So, you know, it adds to the whole spirit of the community, you know, and so I think it's a quality of life issue. So here's something that'll be very unique in the community and to northwestern Pennsylvania, and I appreciate the partnership we have with the city in making this happen. All right, thank you, Joe. Great.
Thank you, Dan. It's very exciting, and I believe that's also right next to the stage where we have concerts and things in the summer, right?
Right.
And that's kind of what I'm excited about because parents can now come for the concert and have their kids playing on the slides at the playground right next door. So that's a pretty neat family thing to be happening. So before we end today's press conference, I want to just take a moment to draw everyone's attention to something that happened yesterday. And a fellow named Rob Matz posted this, a description and a picture of what happened on Facebook. Rob was driving across 29th Street yesterday and saw an elderly man on the ground with his scooter lying next to him. As Rob pulled up, 4 Erie High School students were lifting the elderly man back to his feet and getting his scooter upright. And if you haven't seen the picture, go to Facebook and take a look at it. It's very, very touching. Rob describes the students as being caring and nurturing for this elderly gentleman. He shared this story because people tend to focus on the negative, and he wanted to show everyone the great kids that we have at Erie High School. So I wanted to help spread the word about what happened a little bit today. I want to personally thank those students and say that as I've been around to many of the schools in the Erie School District, I've witnessed amazing potential in our children in these schools, from the littlest preschoolers to the oldest high school students. They all have a gift to give. They all have talent to share. They all deserve a chance to have a promising future. They are the future of Erie, and this only strengthens my resolve to build opportunity, restore hope, and transform Erie. Thank you all for being here today, and everyone will be available for interviews after we're done. Thanks very much.